Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review, Daredevil Season 3, Episode 5. And okay, this is done. We're ready to start the next one. Not because it wasn't a good episode, and not because
boring as fuck.
For you, maybe it was boring as fuck. For me,
what I want to know is how does Fisk see all this shit? What he touched?
Is that a Fisk superpower now? I was going to ask you that. Basically, I have a couple questions because this episode of Daredevil,
clairvoyance or some shit,
is a classic binge-watchy kind of episode where they have the luxury to kind of take their time and give you a deep character study of Poindexter, soon to be Bullseye, and see basically an origin story for him. But aside from that, I don't know if he was actually seeing that, Joe, like Batman sees in the Arkham games where he can like recreate a crime scene, or if it was something just that they did as a visual thing.
He was reading files or whatever, or
we were seeing what he was reading.
Did he touch the baseball that he touched or something? Like,
no, he's not Cisco he's not vibing from the Flash.
So whatever it was, though, I will say this.
Yeah, did you
in all of those scenes, that scene, I guess, I wasn't a big fan of it, but I'll say again, Vincent D'Onofrio never said a fucking word, but wow, what a presence, what an actor! Like the expressions, the introspective thought upon his face, like just all of it. Like he does such a great job. Watching him move through those scenes is what I paid attention to, not the shit with the kid and the doctor and the kid and the coach. Oh, yeah, I saw him kill the coach. That was pretty cool.
That's going up against you for that's everything you hate about television right there in this episode a lot of ways.
Right. But Vincent was able to at least keep me focused enough where I wasn't totally like, let me just fast forward through the shit.
And I tend to like this stuff more than you do, Joe, but I was actually interested more so in this episode than I was, say, a couple of episodes ago, because I really like getting to know Bullseye better and seeing his backstory that way. And I like that device of, instead of actually hearing someone monologue something, whether he had a superpower or not, or something that allowed him to actually see that, or if it was just a visual device. If it was a visual device, I'd like to see more things do that. I don't mind seeing that instead of, and then I read about him yesterday, or some sort of verbal diarrhea that told us everything we needed to know about Poindexter.
He might have killed his coach, when he was 7.
Right, or flashbacks that required more seriousness because of the nature of the way they did it through a memory. They could do it a little, not cheesier, but a little more dreamlike. And I think it served, and I hear what you're saying. And I know, especially in the experiment way that we're doing this right now, an episode like this is like nails across the chalkboard for you personally, because you're like, can we just move on to the next fucking episode?
Yep. And all I'm thinking about is the fight scene from last episode.
Right? But this is a good device that this season is having, where it seems like if we're going to this theme, next episode is going to be heavy on the action. And I don't mind.
I want some more Code 33. Code 33. Code 33.
I also like how it seems that even the stuff that Foggy's doing, even the stuff that Karen's doing, whether I'm truly into it or not.
I killed him.
It all... Sorry, I wish I had you visually on screen for that one. Now I'm just going to keep the camera on you. I like the fact that it's all seems to be centered around the same general plot. It's not like a different storyline that's coming out of left field. All the shit that they're doing kind of wrapped in. I like that everything seems to be revolving around the Kingpin this season. They're not fucking around with a ninja showing up here, this showing up there. It's basically very driven to this single narrative of this season so far. And I don't know if it's going to do what Daredevil season 2 did, where it was so driven to the Punisher thing, and then it drifted, and then it drifted again to like 3 different story arcs, the Ninja arc, then the Elektra arc.
The problem with the Luke Cage first season, as far as I was concerned, 2 bad guys. It cut the season up. It didn't feel good. That was the problem. I felt that was a problem with Daredevil season 2, was that you had the whole Punisher arc, and then cut with the back to the Elektra Ninja shit and the Foot Clan.
But Joe, but Joe, I really did like the flashbacks of Bullseye. I felt like when whatever payoff we get for this in the episode to come, in seeing Bullseye kick Daredevil's ass that's coming up soon, I think it's going to be more paid off because we got this stuff, and this stuff might not be the most exciting stuff to watch on an episode to episode basis, but I think it's for this stuff. Can you at least agree that for this, they do it well? I think this was what they were trying to do in this episode achieved it. It's just not what necessarily you like in episodes that you're trying to watch one-on-one. You would kind of just half sleep through this episode if you were binge watching this.
I would have kind of probably fast forwarded through. Actually, you know what? Because this is my first time watching this season, I wouldn't have fast forwarded through it. But if I watch the season again, I'll fast forward through that shit.
And you also have an understanding of who Bullseye is. I know they changed them for these series, but even more so than me, you have a understanding of who Bullseye is as a character already. So some of this is repetition because you've read the comics of him, or you understand his character a bit more than I knew. Where I really know nothing about Bullseye except, is he like Deadshot? Is he basically a Deadshot? But no, he's got throwing power too. It seems I didn't know about that. I didn't know it wasn't about necessarily his aim. He's not just some highly trained assassin like Deadshot. He's actually has some sort of power and stuff. So for me, it was more informative than it may be to some that already kind of have a base understanding of him. And I think on a binge watch, you either do, as Joe said, you skip this because you don't need it. You get the information, or it just seeps into your binge. You don't realize it even essentially happened.
Because essentially what you got in this episode was your follow-up from last episode's fight, and then more set up into the FBI going after Murdock and Bullseye. So it was a transition episode, and it would just melt straight through your binge watch. But if this, like the episode before Code 33, right? Both episodes, if they were weekly television, would have been a drag and completely fucking boring, and you would have wanted to fucking kill yourself that you had to watch that and basically break up over 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Because you got Code 33, you got something shitty, then you got Code 33, then you get this. I mean, I don't want to say shitty, but
no, I know what you're saying. It's different. But what you're saying is if it wasn't so good with the acting in the filmmaking and just all those little subtle touches that we pick up in shows like, not that this is in the same level, but shows like Better Call Saul that really milk that texture. If this show didn't have that, you'd be more upset with it. But because of it informs you and it carries the story along, even though if it doesn't tickle your television fancy in the way that 10-minute fight scene did. Right.
This would be a drag of an episode if this was a weekly.
If the Iron Fist was in this episode, we'd all cry. Holy shit.
Why would he be there?
We got Claudio in the live motherfucking chat. Great to say. I forgot to welcome the live.
Don't put them in just because they're part of the universe. Don't put them. So far, there's been no reason for Rosario fucking Dawson to show up. There's no reason for it. I hope she does not make an appearance.
Unless that word gets overused, unless it organically makes sense in the plot.
It doesn't, because he's got the church that he keeps going back to convalesce in. So
and
this makes sense for him to go to Rosario Dawson and drag her into a world of shit that she doesn't need.
And this is also a very personal season, it seems like. Let's jump in the live chat a little bit, and then we're going to scroll through a couple thoughts and then get to our next episode so we can squeeze one more in here. He was so good. I thought it was Young Fist, and then I'm like, nope, it was Bullseye. I thought so at first too. I kept thinking that he was going to imagine.
Yeah, I thought, and that's what I thought it was. I thought he was, and I'm like, wow, look at the power behind that throw. And then I'm like, but it keeps hitting the same spot over and over again. What's going on here? And then the guy comes in and says Dex, and I'm like, oh,
perfect. And I like the whole Dex side story, and I like what we saw, and I'll go through it in a second here. Mike says smoking a blunt in between deliveries, and boom, there's Phil and Joe. And times have been tough for the Hulkster. Oops, that's Joe. Then I was like, no bullseye. Oh, I missed you guys. Claudio, we missed you, seeing you in the live motherfucking chat too. Dude, we are fucking great. We're talking about a show we love. We'll be talking this Sunday about The Walking Dead 2. Join us. Way to go there, brother.
Hey, brother. It's the Hulkamania.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Zamo still like
Macho Man, I guess. Oh, brother.
Good, I missed the stock parade. I missed the parade, and I got in and out of Salem before the hundreds of God, back in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see Igor in there, 6:45 in the morning, a little early, getting a coffee. Joe got a cough, trying to do his Hulkster here.
Yeah,
destroyed his voice. Iron Fist wasn't canceled. It's being transformed into the Disney transferred to the Disney platforming stream. I'd be very curious to see it, and we'll think about that moving forward. Okay, quickly to go through some immediate thoughts in this episode. We talked about the flashback stuff. Did Joe hate it? And he said he didn't hate it, but it wasn't his favorite stuff. Dex as a kid was good. I feel it. I love watching Fisk watch and learn instead of hearing someone read something. The kid, and again, I could just keep talking about little moments. The Dex, it was a Dex.
I killed him.
It was a origin story for him. And I like how Foggy gets some balls in this episode too. I don't know much else to say about this. I think I like this.
As a DA.
I think I am what was that?
He's going to need balls as a DA.
Yes, and I think especially in this world, and I think I'm liking Foggy more as this season goes on. Karen, I'm still no way, but Foggy, I'm starting to enjoy because he seems to just be on his own. He's not whining as much. He's fighting back. He's getting slap shots. He's listening to Gordon Bombay and Hans, and he's doing all of his Mighty Duck activities as Joe is choking over there. We might see Joe die live on the stream right now. Felicia, Huckster Joe. I'm going to have to say this has been my favorite season of Daredevil. So far, so good for me too. Joe and I, what we're going to do here, just to continue on quickly about what we're finishing here, we're going to keep doing these 20-minute or so podcasts after each episode until we get to the last episode. Then we're both going to watch the last episode. I may try to fit in a whole binge of the season too. And then we're going to do a podcast about that final episode. I mean, maybe we'll do a 20-minute one right afterwards and then do a season because I think both of us are probably going to binge watch the season right after the season ends just to get that experience. Or I can't. Oh, you got more of those on the finger lollipops. I love those fucking things.
Metro.
Yeah, Katie gave me one of those. I enjoyed sucking on it. Anyways, anything else we want to talk about in this episode? I mean, I guess we can touch on stuff in the next episode as well if anything pops in. But I think they did a good job at setting the scene. This was the Governor origin story episode. This was a Dex origin story, and I think it worked well. So yeah, Joe and I will be back in about
an hour.
In about an hour. We'll try to make it quick as possible as we're on a little bit of a time thing here towards the back end of the hour. But yeah, so we're gonna get off. We're gonna get off right now, and then we're gonna watch Daredevil and get off again. So we'll be back talking to you in a moment, everybody. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, skip on to the next one, and continue our journey of Daredevil this season.
Peace.